Why don't black people own anything? Man, I done been all up and through the hood trying to figure this shit out. I done talked to some of my brothers and sisters. I even talked to some of our historically known oppressors. But you know they wasn't trying to put a nigga up on game. They acted like they forgot how to speak English. Some of them even got mad. And some of them just, ran back into their stores and locked the door. How the hell did we go from Black Wall Street to Black No Street? What the fuck is going on? These niggas think they got us on lock. I don't like that shit. Get damn it, did I knock before? And then you cocksuckers run and lock the door. And then you cocksuckers run and close your blinds. And act like you asleep but never close your eyes. I bet they open now. Cause when you see my niggas coming with they pitchforks, what you think that shit's for? This is a revolt, vote. Give me all your women, give me all your children, give me all your linen, and give me what's in that. Vote, 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 vote. In 1866, just 1 year out of chattel slavery, black people owned less than 1% of all the wealth in America. Now the year is 2015 and we still own less than 1% of all the wealth in America. That's 150 years and we have not been able to make 1 ounce of progress economically. Even with all of our celebrities and so-called icons, we are still running in place and going nowhere. Most people like to blame the lack of black advancement on the lack of education. Well, that can't be true because black people in America have set the world record for the fastest group in history to educate themselves. Following slavery between the years of 1866 and 1896, the black illiteracy rate decreased by more than 50%. What has happened to blacks in America? Why is it that black people as a whole just can't make themselves as a group financially self-sufficient?
Unfortunately, the system is set up for us not to move forward, for us not to progress. Because if we gain ground, if we gain economic independence, unfortunately for the powers that be, in order for them to feel on top, they have to be on top of somebody. So who is that somebody that they have to be on top of? Who are those somebodies that they have to control? Not just us, meaning my generation and the generation before me, but it is already set into motion and into a plan so that the younger generations, people who are 21 and younger, intentionally cannot make any gains when it comes down to economics, land ownership, and education.
What has happened is a miscommunication between the elders and the new generation. I feel like that link that was destroyed purposely by the system and the government via killing our leaders, via killing our public, our general public through drugs, through purpose manipulated violence, and just a whole bunch of miscommunication, between what's real and what's fake. And with that in the mix, it has caused us to be lost. It's caused generation that, like my generation, to be lost. If you don't seek self-education and you don't seek these answers and you don't even know if it's something to be answered, then you're going to be lost. And what's happening is a lot of killing, a lot of murdering, especially in this city, and that's what's going on in the world, to be honest.
A lot of people don't know, black people were very prosperous after slavery, you know what I'm saying? We held houses in the Senate. We held houses in the House of Representatives. We was making great strides, actually, economically. And that formed, retaliation happened from white folks that felt threatened. You know what I mean? They thought their livelihood was threatened. So that formed the KKK and organizations as such, yeah, man, just to keep everything down, bro. And so that's what started the system that we see today. And so it's not the same economic 1%, but we rose and they brought us back down.
Now, fresh out of slavery, we had the opportunity to go ahead and use our skills for business purposes, and we did. You had people going and finding work, and you had people going and selling things like peanuts was a big thing back in the days when they were selling stuff like that. So you had entrepreneurship going on in the black community. Now you fast forward a couple years, you had the dominant people in America that was getting offended by this. So what they came up with carpenters unions. They came up with different local unions, not for black people ourselves, but for for the dominant European Americans in this country. So if you deal with it like that, since we've been released from slavery, we always had different barricades to block us from going into entrepreneurship or ownership.
I think that first, it is important for me to say that the system we live in, known as capitalism, is not inherently a part of human nature. So what that means is that people don't just naturally acquire the skill to practice capitalism. Capitalism is a system that must be taught, and black people have never been taught that system. For a very specific reason, our not knowing how to play the game is what keeps it alive.
What do you think happened to us to get to this point where it's like we focused on the wrong things? Like, do you think like we inherently are just focused on the wrong things? Do you think that someone, like, because after the civil rights movement, like, black people were like together, but like then came drugs and alcohol and all the bad culture that they put into our community to really throw us off track. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. But at the same time, we just steered because once the drugs and everything came in about, then it's about, okay, now we want to look like this. We want to look like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what tracked off our focus as to being as a whole. I want to have more money than you. I don't want you to have more money than me, because then you're going to get more than what instead of us being a team, and we can build and everybody can eat.
See, we got to realize ain't no I in team. See, when most black people get rich, they I now. I'm with them. No, you ain't with them. They just don't know. You mess up, they going to put you right back where you came from. See? And then they don't realize if they keep their money in the community, it's just going to help their money to grow, like my man Business right here. Nobody, why y'all won't want to support him, but y'all sure go over here to the fast food restaurant and spend $9, $10 on a burger. When my man got little dollar chickens. He trying to provide for his family and stuff.
Right. And I would add to that and just say that's because black people don't understand the game. Black people don't understand that the power, the wealth is in the unity. You know what I'm saying? If everybody on this block right here said, fuck a dollar bill, fuck $100 bills, we gonna start trading money. Money is bottle caps now, and everybody be like, fuck this dollar, I'm gonna go get bottle caps. So that mean what? That mean the power was never really in the dollar. The power was in what? The people.
One thing is trust. A big thing about being united comes with trust. We don't trust one another. Everybody wants to make it on their own. So I'm just like, I'm not eating with you if you didn't starve with me, but nobody's trying to like cook for nobody, like in a way. Like, we got to learn how to trust each other and actually try to like build one another up. Everybody's trying to do everything by their own, trying to be solo by themselves. If we actually like learn to lean on one another and ask each other for help or other things like that, then it won't be a problem actually becoming united.
Almost 40% of all black people in America are beneath the poverty line. 33% are right on the borderline. If they lose their job, house, or car, they will be considered poor. There is no such thing as a black middle class. That is simply a myth. All we have are black people who simply make a little bit more money than other black people. The average black so-called middle class is worth about $5,000, while the average white middle class is worth about $100,000. That is a $95,000 wealth difference.
The people that are benefiting off of these government loans, minority loans, because they like to categorize it as minority loans. You know what I'm saying? Is the Arabs, as you can see, the Indians, the Asians, open up the beauty salons and corner stores and all that stuff, liquor stores. These are people that are utilizing these so-called minority loans. What we need to do is we need to come to the government and we need to be like, man, we need black loans to black folks, not minorities, because they mixing us in with too many people.
I mean, it has to start somewhere. Just like back in the day, we had worse conditions, but we still were creative enough and hardworking enough, whereas we still found the way. We have to kind of bring back some of those old ways, whereas failure's not an option, and we're going to figure it out.
It's these circumstances are not going to change. They're going to get worse. So if you're willing to do the hard work and to make those sacrifices, whereas you might have to drive 10 or 15 miles to get to that black store. But if you do that, though, in the long run, it'll pay off, because then you can start creating, or at least like Kenneth said, circulating that black dollar.
Malcolm X had figured it out. The last words written by Malcolm X before his assassination was this: after the Emancipation Proclamation, when the system of slavery changed from chattel slavery to wage slavery, it was realized that black people constituted the largest ethnic group with the exact same origin and group experience, and if allowed to exercise economic and political freedom within a short term, run this country. Therefore, racist government developed techniques that would economically keep black people dependent on the system, making them economic slaves, aka 20th century slaves. Malcolm X had figured it out, and so did Dr. King. In the speech a day before Dr. King's assassination, he told blacks to pull their money out of white banks and put them into black banks. See, what black people must understand is that our economic power comes from our unity. No one man can rise above the conditions of his people, contrary to what many mainstream rappers lead you to believe.
Unless we take the time now to prepare for tomorrow, tomorrow will be the exact same way that it is today. Unless we take the time to start a store, until we take the time to teach our children crafts and technology, science, engineering, and mathematics, until we take the time to tell our children we don't need any more rappers, we need some scientists, we need some technologists, we need some engineers, we need some mathematicians, we need some philosophers. We need people that are going to make the investments and do it for the love of the people instead of for the monetary gain of the enemy and the oppressor. One day we will have the opportunity. Matter of fact, every day is an opportunity to change. Every day is an opportunity to invest. You can start today. And like Ashina said, it doesn't have to be money. It could be your time, your energy, your encouragement. Encouragement goes a long way with these young people. And I'm talking to people that are in my cohort group, meaning my age group and older. We have to invest in our youth. If we do not invest in our youth, no one will. It is not their responsibility, and it is not in their best interest. It is time for us to take serious the actions and the words that we say. It's time for us to step up, and show out on behalf of our children. We have to make them believe and show them that we believe in them, that we trust them, and that we are here to prepare them for the future. So maybe it might take a little bit of money for you all that don't have time, and for those of you all that don't have money, then you can give your time. You can give a word of encouragement. You can give a helping hand. You can give them a book. What happened to that? You can teach them how to do a certain type of mathematics or how to invest. You can show them how to write up a blueprint. You can introduce them to jobs, not only jobs, but careers that they may not have otherwise even heard about. So it is up to us to fix us, because nobody else is going to do it for us. Because if we get free, then that means they failed in their mission, which is total domination and control. We can do this. We have done it before. And if you're with us, we will do it again.